Hey guys, my name is Brandon and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Is That More Brandon. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a review for episode 3 of The Apprentice, series 19, 2025, filmed in 2024, episode 3, the UK version. So we've now lost 2 people from the series, we have 16 people left. At the beginning of episode 3, Lord Sugar entered the house in the evening of the previous night, explaining that they were going to be going to the market town of Stratford-upon-Avon to find a list of items to buy and sell for the best price. So I think what they had to basically do was obviously in their teams have a main part and a sub team. They were going to be going to different locations, split up the different items. They weren't necessarily going to have to sell the items on, but they had to just buy the items at a cheap enough price as possible in order to, you know, beat the other team. So if the other team sold a spoon for £5 and they sold it for £2, they're already £3 in profit, or £3 ahead if you want to call it that. And there was obviously deductions if either they bought the wrong item, if they were late, and if they didn't get any items basically. So I'll go through both the teams separately and we can see what happened. So obviously initially we had the teams as they were before. So Jordan, Johnny, Frederick, Dean, Amber Rose, Mia, Emma S and Malika on one team, or Malika sorry. And the other team we had Max, Kier, Carlo, Jana, Liam, Chizola, Anissa and Nadia. Obviously now having 16 of them left, Lord Sugar decided to switch 2 of them around. So Dean and Malika from the first team and Liam and Nadia from the second team actually swapped. No, that was the switched teams. So yeah, Dean and Malika had joined the team on the left and Liam and Nadia had joined the team on the right, so that's perfectly fine. So we'll start with previous project manager Amber Rose. We'll start with her team. So for this team, Dean had obviously switched over. He became the project manager for this team. He said that he buys and sells daily, feels like this is definitely his task, and they were obviously discussing through some of the items, with one of them they would thought of being as a 1900 watch, rhubarb that needed to be picked. Mia said that a pink celery potentially could have been one of the items. Dean explained that a large fleece could have been of a jumper, so something to do with like a jumper. Johnny explained that Ophelia could be the name of a drink named after a character. Dean explained that a quill with a nib is basically a pen with a bit on the end, with Mia adding that the nib on the end is the most important part. And basically, for their way of going in, Dean explained to say, what is your best price? And then negotiate. So if they offer whatever, you offer less, and then you kind of go through the middle to get something lower than what they actually want. Mia also explained that things seem to probably make more sense in Dean's head than it does for their team, because obviously he is doing it naturally, it's something that he does all the time. Maybe for the rest of them it's not really how they negotiate or how they do things. And Johnny basically asked Dean whether he wanted to more save time or save money, because it was kind of a matter of both. And Dean put Mia forward as the deputy leader, with Malika jumping in saying, well hang on, I've actually done the most sales, shouldn't I be the team leader, the project sub-team leader? And obviously he kind of just dismissed of that. So for Mia, Malika, Johnny and Amber Rose, they were searching for 4 items. So they were searching for Avalanche, they were searching for Fleece, they were searching for Ophelia, and they were searching for Rhubarb. Dean went in at 1,100 for an 18 carat pocket watch, saying that they needed a silver one in order to get something cheaper, because obviously 18 carats is very expensive and gold is obviously going to be more expensive than silver. Mia decided that she wanted to take a lead on the full fleece, so she initially went in with £40, and Malika said that they usually sell for 30 or 35 to the person that they were trying to buy from, and the woman basically was like, okay, well we'll sell it to you for 30 then, and Mia said deal at 18. So I think she could have got a lot less for 18, but because Malika said what they usually sell for, the person selling it has obviously then brought their price up because they know they can get more out of it. So yeah, Malika jumped into the pitch there when actually she was told by Mia that Mia was going to be leading that pitch. Frederick was in charge of the deal at the jewellers, so they were at an 1880s place looking for this watch. Dean explained the budget was 40 to 45. They ended up managing to get a deal at 53, which was fine. But Fred said that Dean kind of steamrolled into the deal, so he said, Frederick, you take this one, and then actually jumped in and kind of got a different offer. Amber then asked what the usual price was for 5 kilograms of rhubarb. It was £6 per kilo, and if they were to pull it themselves, it'll be £2.95 per kilo with £14.75 in total. Mia explained it was her idea of hell. Johnny said that they should have just stuck with the original price, and obviously having now got the extra weight, because they actually ended up getting more than the 5 kilograms, the specification for what Lord Sugar wanted was wrong, so they're probably going to get deductions on that. On the quail deal, Frederick went in saying 24 is probably the best offer and managed to get a deal at £20. Malika went in for the retail price of an item and wanted to ask for 60% off. Johnny offered a lower price, and obviously they could get flowers for the £2 each. Apparently Malika was kind of jumping in trying to get this deal for the flowers, saying they don't need to be brand new, they don't need to be, you know, anything special, it just needs to be flowers, with Mia saying that she didn't actually let the woman of the shop speak. Jordan managed to get concave shoes for £20, asked for initially 5, ended up getting a deal for 8. And then Dean basically said for the boat hook they could get that and then quickly just leave. Emma managed to get a boat hook for £70. Dean said that they got 4 out of their 5 items at a good price. Yeah, that was it for their team. And then for the other team, which was Max, Keir, Carlo, Jana, Chizola, Anissa, and new team members Nadia and Liam, Carlo explained that he wanted to be involved as either the project manager or the sub-team leader, and Max decided to take the lead of the project as the project manager, and obviously didn't put Carlo as sub-team leader, but he said his strategy is usually something that's in his locker in terms of how to, you know, win the task. They kind of discussed in terms of sheared sheep that potentially could be like a sheep's jumper. Max said Ophelia could be like a wine or a bottle of wine. Keir said that a coal hod could be something to do for storing. Max explained the boat hook could be something to do with a harbour. With Liam jumping in saying it could be referred to as a gif or a gaff, as it usually hooks ropes. And Max basically said whatever they offer you for the item, ask for a 50% discount and then obviously negotiate from there. So whereas the first team was kind of just ask what they want and then go down, Max, it was kind of what do they want, ask for half and then negotiate from there. So it's kind of similar process. Max explained that Liam was a sub-team leader, and for Anissa, Nadia, Jana and himself, they were going to look for the boat hook, the avalanche, the fleece and the rhubarb. And Max basically said he wanted Carlo on his team, so he's all able to supervise what he's doing. I guess he doesn't really trust him. And they were looking for both the Banbury and the concave shoes. Max wanted to take reins on the horseshoes, the concave shoes. He was with Keir, Chizola and Carlo. Max initially offered 10. They offered him £17.50, and I think they kind of just agreed to that. Nadia explained that they should give a price that's openly extreme and then work their way backwards. So she was negotiating with Liam, Anissa and Jana. So initially for whatever item it was, she offered £1.50, I think it was for the concave shoes, or the fleece, and then Liam jumped in at 10, Nadia jumped in at 12. So yeah, the fact that she's offered so low was almost like an insult. Liam managed to bring it up to a normal amount, but then Nadia should have gone between the 150 and 10, not back up to the 12. And then for Max, he offered £12.50, which was a mid-deal point for whichever item it was that they were trying to sell. And Carlo said it wasn't personal enough with the seller. And Max said that Carlo, again, wasn't talking in the moment. He was discussing afterwards what should have been done rather than just dealing with what's in the moment. And, you know, discussing as a team in the moment, he was kind of going along with it, being quiet, and then once the deal had been made, then going, oh, actually, I don't think this was right. So he did the same thing on the previous task as well. Again, in terms of the rhubarb, they had to go to the Wickham Park farm. So again, I think they kind of switched it here in terms of the team. So I think it was actually going to be the other half of Max's team who were going to go and get that, and then Max decided that actually they were going to go and get that instead. Keir managed to get a deal on rhubarb for £5 a kilo, managed to get it down to £3.25 per kilo, or £3 if they were to pick it themselves. They didn't really want to pick it themselves, but they still managed to get their £3 deal accepted, so £15 in total. Nadia questioned on the phone to somebody what a sweet avalanche was, and they said it was a rose. She said, right, save 12 of them for us. Jana managed to get that deal down to £23.70. Kia asked Carlo whether they had the address for the pocket watch, with Chinosa saying he needed to keep this information written down because otherwise they don't know where they're going. And Nadia then explained to her half of the team they needed to find a bucket and a hook. Carlo again tried to make a deal on the quill. I think initially the price was 20. I think he offered, well no, the quill was 16. He offered £5, which is not the 50% rule that Max had decided. He should have offered 8 and then discussed, but he didn't. And he basically said to the customer, he said, do you feel good if you want to do a good gesture for us? And managed to end up getting a deal at 10. So he offered 5, which was less than the 50%, but then also ended up getting 8 anyway. So he basically got the 50% that Max had asked for. Anissa managed to get the coal hod for £10. Liam decided they could get for £5 by adding a spade, kind of sticking that onto the end. And Max said that their target was to obviously go and get a pocket watch. Again, in terms of the teams all getting back to the castle, Shizola said that her half of the team were on the way to Warwick Castle where the wine was. Max was concerned where his sub-team was and that punctuality was key. So yeah, he was basically just waiting for their team to come back. So that was kind of that in terms of the task. And when we got into the boardroom, so for Dean's team, he explained that he put himself forward as project leader, project manager, because he has background as being a seller. He knew that the gold pocket watch being 1,100 was a little bit expensive, and there was a silver one next door. Fred managed to do the negotiation from 75 down to 53, and apologised that he spoke over Frederick, with Frederick saying, yeah, well, that was my deal. And then, he then ended up leading the next one, which was fine. Mia explained that they obviously picked their own rhubarb, and they kind of all didn't realise that they picked too much, so that didn't fit the specification, so their rhubarb didn't count. Malika wanted to interject because obviously the rhubarb was advised earlier on than the sheep's fleece, so I don't know whether because she basically advised a certain price for something, and they basically questioned as to why she said what she said to the fleece person, because then that made their profit a little bit less. Johnny said he led the negotiation on wine, and he accidentally ended up paying over £4 more than what they should have done because he's bad maths in the moment. So he was also trying to work out all these numbers out very, very quickly and didn't manage to get the calculations right, so spent an extra £4 rather than what they should have paid. And then for Max's team, Max said again, yeah, he was a little bit concerned that his team obviously didn't get there on time, so they got a penalty for being late. He has a background in business strategy, saw no confidence in Carlo, so he wanted to make sure that Carlo was by his side. And Liam said that he kind of improvised a boat hook with a shovel and a screwdriver, with Lord Sugar saying, yep, I'm not allowing that. Chisoda said they paid £165 for a watch. Carlo said that for the quill, he should have offered the 50% that Max advised him to, should have asked for £8. And Max said that as a team collectively, they decided to just skip on the wine. When it came to correct items, Karen explained that for Dean's team, they got 7 correct items at a total of £360.40. The rhubarb, £14.75, didn't count. Coal hod, they didn't actually get. They had fines of £116, so a total spent of £535.15. And then for Max's team, they had 8 correct items at a total of £261.20. They didn't get the wine, the boat hook didn't count, and they were also late. So their fines were £379.94, which meant as a total they spent plus incurred fines of £639.14 in total. So lost by about £100. So it was Dean's team that won, and Fred said that was 2 out of 3 wins for him as an individual so far. Max explained that the boat hook costed them a lot in the task, saying that Liam was responsible. And then for the Ophelia, they obviously struggled for time, and Max made that decision for them not to go and get that wine. Anissa said that they paid triple price for the pocket watch as opposed to the other team who paid, £50. And Carlo explained that he wanted responsibility in the task and wasn't able to be project manager or sub-team leader as he previously advised. But again, just because you don't have a title, it doesn't mean you can't help out. If anything, it should make you more want to help out so that people trust you in the future tasks going forward. When he brought the team back in, Logica said that it was the fines that killed them off. £100 for being late, £294 for not getting the wine, and £50 for Liam's homemade boat hook. Nadia said that the other half of the team are completely responsible, with Liam said that he took a risk, and they could have ended up coming back with the wrong item, so he just thought what he did was a good idea. Chisola said, having paid £165 for the watch, they were pushed for time, so minus the pun there, but they ended up getting what they got. And Carlo was basically responsible of making notes of the people they were speaking to on the phone, where actually he didn't manage to write down all the information, such as the suppliers they were going to or the address of where they were going to next. And Max explained that it's not a situation of him versus Carlo, it's a shared opinion within the team, that people are seeing that he's not actually helping out with the team. And Anissa basically said it seemed like it was Carlo against Carlo in the task, he's kind of fighting against himself. Nadia said that Carlo couldn't shine, he wasn't actually given a chance in this task, and then Max decided as project manager to bring back both Liam and Carlo. Liam because of the fines, and Carlo the fact that he just kind of really wasn't doing anything. And Liam said that the 2 fines that his half of the team had were actually a lot less than one of Max's fines as total. So Liam, it was 50 quid. It wasn't really a loss of the task. Even if they would have got that 50 quid back, they still would have been at 570 odds, so they still would have lost the task, whether Liam brought that homemade rod back or not. So I don't think he was to blame for this task at all. Tim explained that Max didn't prioritise the expensive item, there was no wine and they spent too much on the watch. Karen said that Liam can't claim that what he made was a specification of the item, it was a homemade thing, he took a risk and the risk accidentally failed. And then Tim explained that for Carlo, he was claiming he didn't have or get given any responsibility, but you don't need a title, you just need to act up as if you're in that role to just get people to trust you going forwards in the process, which is exactly what I was saying when the episode was on, because I was like, well hang on, you're not a project manager, so you're not in charge, you're not a sub-team leader, so you can't really have all of your opinions said, but as long as you're actually getting involved and speaking in the moment, people will trust you in future tasks. So when it came to the firing, obviously Max, Liam and Carlo, so last week it was 3 girls in the boardroom, this week it's 3 boys in the boardroom. Lord Sugar said, is it Max responsible for the failure of the planning of the tasks, because 2 of the fines were actually with the sub-team. Liam explained that he took a risk, but it was Max that didn't actually get the wine, he basically sabotaged the task himself, £264 because of one person's decision. Carlo said that he felt like he's being suppressed, he seems to be a threat in the process, and he only ended up having 1 negotiation for the quill. Max said that he didn't speak up when Liam was nominated as sub-team leader, he kind of just let Liam take that lead. And Liam also agreed that Carlo wasn't stepping forward, and that's why Max put him on his team, because he wanted to keep an eye on Carlo. Lord Sugar said that Liam had one of the fines, he tried to be an entrepreneur, so the fact that he did try and do something unique is not a reason for him to fail the task, it's literally 50 quid. Apparently Carlo, according to some of the others, is a disruptor, and he's had messages from other people in the tasks, and behind the scenes that it is Carlo, that it's not just one person. But in theory, it was Max who was the failure of the task, and the task failed purely because of him. But in the end, is it better to have someone that actually tries and makes business decisions, or someone that takes accountability for nothing and doesn't really do anything in the tasks? So I think from that perspective, Lord Sugar said that it was Carlo's time. So Carlo was fired, and Lord Sugar basically said to Max that your scapegoat is gone now, I'm keeping an eye on you. So the fact that he's now got rid of Carlo means that Max can't say that Carlo's not working, because it'll be Max's decision and it'll be up to Max who's next. Carlo said that he didn't feel like he made any mistakes, only lessons were learnt, and he said that this isn't the last you'll be seeing of him. With Liam basically saying that Max was very, very lucky to be there, because obviously if Carlo did perform, it would be Max who would have been probably out of the door. So yeah, Carlo's the 3rd person fired from The Apprentice this year. Again, similar to the last task, I think he was the right person to go. Just the fact that he had the chance in the previous task to step up and didn't. He had the chance to step up in this task with or without that title and didn't. And I do get it. It's frustrating when he's trying to voice his opinions and he's trying to, give feedback after the negotiations have already been done, or after the team have already agreed a deal or whatever. I guess he should have just spoken up a bit earlier. But yeah, I do still support him and his decisions of, speaking up and, telling them what he felt, like his opinions and things. But I guess, the fact that his notes weren't very clear in terms of like, these are the places we're going to, these are the numbers, and this is our point of contact, and then also being late, and then also just kind of not really being there and as present as some of the others in the team. So yeah, I think it was the right decision for Carlo to go. But yeah, now we have 15 people left in the process. So if you did enjoy my review, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And until episode 4, thank you very much for watching and goodbye.